All right, let's continue. So what we want to do, we want to test our questions endpoint, like saving, getting, and so on. I need to create, so this is the HTTP users. I need to create another one, let's say questions.http. You can do it with, I don't know, Postman or whatever you do. A get endpoint to HTTP //localhost 777. It's not auth login, it's now API /questions. I hope we used questions. Yeah, that's it, I think. It's for getting. Let me check if it's yeah, it's working. I received empty array because I don't have any question in my database. Let's create some questions. So the next endpoint to test is post to the same endpoint, and then content type application and JSON. So the data is sending a question. What we need for our question? Let me check the schema. Question schema. What we need to put is a title, a description, a category, which the default is general anyway, and this will be by default added there. So we have two default things. I'm not going to put this into the request to be a bit faster, or maybe the category also. Title and description, they are the required ones. So we need a title. So it's about, let's say, food, or I don't know, healthy food, and description, which is the question itself, how to eat healthy food. That's a question. The next thing is category. By default, if we don't provide any category, by default it will be general. We defined it there in our schema. Or if you want to provide, let's say it's about, what is it about? Do we have a category food in our schema? We have sport, math, science, JS, pets, general. I think we should use general anyway. So general. We don't have food. General. Even if you don't provide that, it will be general by default, because we said default, if it's not provided, use general. Yeah. Let's test it if it's working. I'm gonna make a request to save a question. Bang. Fantastic, it's working. The title, description, it's saved. 201 created. If I get all of my questions, I have only one question now in my database. Let's create another one. The title is programming languages, and the question is Python easier than JavaScript? Yeah. We have a category of JS, let's say. This stands for JavaScript. So the category is about JS. Yeah. Let's send also this to save it to our database. Fantastic. The category is JS, title, and so on. Let's check our questions. Great. Do we have an endpoint for deleting in our question router? Definitely, I think we checked it. In the question router, This is responsible for saving. We have updating a specific one. Fantastic. We have, again, updating with put. Two different things. We tested it. Yeah, we can also delete a specific user with an ID. And so on. A specific, sorry, question. Now, before any request, so what we want to do is like, before any request, like no one should be able to get all the questions. See this request that is coming? They must be logged in. So if you want to secure some endpoints to specific doing something, yeah, based on if the user is logged in or not. Yeah, if you wanna if you wanna show all the questions to a user, you need to check if they are logged in or not, because when it comes, it's already logged in. Yeah, or when this comes, it's already like sorry, it's like it's already logged in or not. We don't care about that. The request goes question, get the question, it already goes. Create a question, everybody can create a question, yeah, without being logged in. So first of all, we want to check if the user is logged in, yeah, based on the token that comes to the request. Really, the token should come in the request. And we need a middleware, so to say. Do we have a middleware folder somewhere here? No. We need a middleware that is responsible only for checking if this request is coming, there is a token inside. If there is a token inside, we need to check it, if it's really valid or not, and so on. Did you do it last week? Like the middleware that checks the token?
What do you mean it checks the token?
What did you do last week? I need to make sure if he didn't do what he's supposed to do, I really am gonna go for him. Let me check. It's bad that you guys, when I'm asking you, don't tell me what you did and you just quiet. It's so bad. Who sent me the, in the morning you said someone sent me the what you did last week? Where is it? I have a message from Sabine only.
You mean what we did on Thursday?
Yeah, on Thursday, when I was not here.
Yeah, I sent on Slack. I don't know. Maybe I can send again.
Yeah, if you send it to me again, it would be great. Thank you. Yes, Shinedo is typing.
Did you see it?
Yes or no?
Have you seen it?
The notification came, but let me check. Maybe you are sending it in another.
The other Slack. Not the general Slack.
Ah, you are in the DCI students.
Yeah.
Okay, I should go there then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it here. Let me download the zip and let me see what you've done. Okay, this is what you have done last week. You have routes. So you didn't do you did only the signing the token, yeah?
Yeah, that's all he did actually.
Okay. All right, it's okay. I'm very angry about these things. I'm gonna talk about DCI. I'm tired of just repeating someone else's teaching, and I have to make a review. I really hate it now.
Because I think he also didn't. I don't know. I think he wasn't really sure what we did either.
It doesn't matter what I explained what he needs to do. I told him. All right. It's okay. It's completely fine. Let's do it together. Okay. So the first thing. So there is two sections of like when you log in, you already know that when someone is successfully logged in, you have to provide a token for that person. Okay. This is the token that we provided when they are logged in. Auth router. All right. This is the token that we provided when they successfully put their email and password. We create a token, we put a little information about the user. It could be email, ID, or both, or whatever, using our secret. We can expire it in 1 minute. We tested if it's expired in 1 minute or not later. And then we send it to the router. Fantastic. For the next time, there is a request is coming for, let's say, to get all the questions, yeah? There is a request is coming to get, let's say, all the questions, this thing. We want to protect somehow these routes based on if the user is logged in or not, because we don't want to allow nobody can get the questions if they are not logged in. Yeah, we need a middleware somewhere here to the endpoints. If there is a request is coming, we want to check token. Let's say this is the middleware. We don't have it still. Before it goes to receive the questions in this middleware, we need to check if there is a token. If there is no token, this means they are not logged in. They have to log in first to receive a token. This is what we want to do now. Does that make sense? All right. So this check token, we don't have it still, and usually it's as a middleware, so to say. Yeah. So let's create a middleware folder. Middlewares, because it could be a lot of middlewares there. In this middleware folder, we're gonna create a file. So name it. So this middleware function, name it check token. Yeah, something like that. Check token.js. This middleware is responsible for checking the token in the request. If there is a token or not. If there is no token, send error. Or if the token there is, check if it's a valid token. It's not malformed. Someone didn't just manipulate the token. Or if it's not expired or not. If everything is fine, then okay, let it go to do this stuff. This is what the thing that we want to do. The sign of creating a middleware function, you remember that it's a function with three things inside. So const check token, so it's a middleware. We know that. Then rec res next. That's our middleware function. We want to try and catch something. All right. So usually let me get rid of this for now because we don't have it yet. That's we don't have this error. Usually when you make a request, yeah. So let me bring the auto draw. So usually, let's say this is server, this is a front end. You log in, you put your credentials, successfully log in, you receive a token. Fantastic. This token is somewhere saved in your browser, either local storage or cookies. For the next time, you try to make a request to get all the questions, correct? The server now, with that middleware, needs to check the token. You have to put the token in the request. And usually we put the token inside of the headers. Okay? The token goes inside of the headers of the request. Not inside of the body. Not inside of the query as a link, like after question mark, you don't say token equals to da, 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 da. This is the token. Yeah. Not this way, because if you put it in the queries, it's a bit dangerous. It's obvious, everyone can see that. If you put it in the body of the request, it's easily accessible. So in the headers, we put it into the headers. It's more safer, so to say. Yeah, we put that token that already the server sent it to us and make any other request that we want to do. Let's say getting all messages, deleting any message, updating any message. This token must be there in the headers. And then the server, there is a middleware that we want to create it especially for checking the token. First checks the token in the header. It checks in the header if there is a token provided or not. If there is no token provided, then it's going to send back an error or whatever. If there is a token provided, it's going to check the validity, like if it's valid or not, a token. If yes, who is behind this token? Yeah, we need to decode also the token. This is what we want to do. So yeah, let's test it. So in this check token function, const, let's say there is a raw token coming. I just want to write one thing and then we kind of console like that, okay? Rec dot headers. Inside of the headers, we're gonna put that token when the request is coming. We just want to console log this raw token. Let's see what is it, if we really have access to that or not. Okay, for now let's do this. I'm gonna export this and use it in the questions router. Let's export. So now you want to protect any endpoint that you want with this check token. Yeah, for now it doesn't do anything, it's just consolidating something. So in the question router, I want to protect this endpoint with this check token, and I want to make sure if the person is already logged in. Yeah, check token, this one, make sure that you are importing that correctly. We put it here. So when a request is coming, a GET request coming to a /API/question, it goes to our check token function. And our check token function, what it does, don't forget to separate them. Put a comma. Yeah. What the check token now, what it does is the only thing that it does is just console log. It checks the rec.headers because in the request we have rec.body. In the request we have rec.params, And also we have access to the headers, rec.headers, to see what is inside. Yeah. Let's make a request, a question request. I want to get all the questions. But as I said, you need to put the token inside of headers. And we know that headers in this case will be here, one line after that. If you are using Postman, inside of the header section, you have to add like these things. Yeah? I'm gonna add like something like that, because usually it's like you name it authorization. Yeah, or like in this way, authorization, and then here it comes your token. Yeah, at the beginning there is a bearer word always. This bearer is telling your, so to say, your server, whatever comes after that. Let's say this is the token that was created. Yeah. Whatever it's coming here, it's a token actually. So your server with the bearer word can understand like, okay, it's a token, it could be JWT and so on. And it's always there, like a type of like a token, so to say. So when you are sending a token in your request inside of headers, this is the way. A keyword as a authorization, bearer, one space between, and then your actual token. This token is the token that the server sent it you when you were logged in. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna log in first to get a token. Look at that. So I'm gonna get a token when I log in. So I wanna log in with something too, with this password. Fantastic, I receive a token. I'm gonna copy this token. Okay, paste it in my request here instead of this garbage. This is the token. All right. This is the way that you should make a request, and you put the token inside of the request. Any type of request, even if you want to make a post request for creating a question, you have to also maybe be logged in, because you don't want to allow anyone to ask a question if you don't know who they are, if you don't know they are logged in. I can also copy this and paste it here. Yeah, this is inside of the header. Next to the content type, also content type, it's in the header. You can put other information like authorization, and that's a token. Let's make the request. The request go to a /API/questions, and it goes to the check token first, and we just console log the entire headers. Let's see what we see inside, because the headers is an object, a very big object. Okay, let's test it. Make the request. Bang. You can see first it's waiting forever. You know the reason, because the check token doesn't send any response, nothing. It's just console logging something. This is the console log. You can see there is a bunch of information inside in the header. There is a user agent from where the request is coming. It's coming from the VS Code. And this is the authorization that we put it there actually. You can see. And there is some other bunch of the data that it's automatically added. Who is the server that's sending this, localhost 777, connection now is closed. A bunch of other information. If you do it through the browser adds more information about you, like which browser you are using, which device you are using, and so on. All right, this is the thing that we added actually. Authorization. This is the bearer. And this
sorry to interrupt you. I have a question. I
Yeah.
was not paying too much attention. From where did you get the line of authorization, the bearer and the...
Here you mean?
Yeah,
Where did I get this one or this one?
the second one.
Like the long token.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the bearer.
This is,
Fine.
yeah, exactly. The bearer is always there as a thing, you have it,
Oh,
and a
okay.
space. But this one is the token that when the user is logged in. Yeah. So this means if you want to have a token, something like that, you have to first log in. This means here I want to log in with, let me see if I have you in my database. I have a bunch of users, I think. I have me. I have you. I can log in with you. I don't remember your password. I think it was 1234.
1, 2, 3 or
1, 2, 3, yeah? Let's give it a try. So that's your email and your password 1, 2, 3. If it's correct, I should receive a token. No, it's wrong. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fantastic. See? So you logged in and the server gave you a token. And this means now server says, if you want me from now on, if you want me to give you questions, if you want me to allow you to create a question, to save a question in the database, you need to provide me this token. Guys, this token is as a key for you. Yeah? It's like your server says, I have a lock. If you have a key, open it. When you open it, then you can have access to the questions. You can have, I don't know, you can create questions, update questions, and so on. If you don't have this key in your hand when you make the request, the server says, sorry, it's locked. You have to log in. If you log in, I give you a key to open some locks. And the token is acting as a key. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Now you can copy this. Let me copy this because you need to put this into the request. And here, I need to put it here. Now, when the request goes, when the server, like this check token, decodes this actually token, it means it's you, like it understands, oh, it's Mickey. Yeah, let's see that. So inside of the rec.headers, you can see we have the authorization, access to that, and then we get this. So we can have access to dot authorization. Everyone agree with that? So we can say dot authorization. So it should give us this one. So let's test it now. I'm going to make the request. Bang. That's the console log. We have access to the raw token. What I need now is this one. I need the token itself. I don't need this bearer. I don't need this extra information. I need exactly the token. That's why I named it here raw token, because the token itself still is not there. So you have a string, guys. Now it's a JavaScript. You have a string with bearer, space, and a token. How can you access only to the token? You want this. It's no JavaScript that comes handy. So const token, you want to separate the token from this string. How do you do this?
Use some stringify.
It's already a string. You just want to split this part, so to say. You want to have only this part out of this string. So the token itself, I'm going to get the raw token. If you remember, there is a split method. And I'm going to split it with a space.
String.split?
Yeah. What does this line do, guys? It's just JavaScript now. I'm just doing the JavaScript now. I'm going to console log that you see what this line does. I'm going to console log the token, this variable. If you remember, the split function is a string method, and it can split based on the spaces in the string and put them into array. So I'm gonna make the request. You can see there is a little space here. This means it's gonna split this part and the whole of this part and put them into an array. Let's see. Bang. Look at that. It's an array with two things inside now, a bearer and the second element is the entire token. This line. Now I want only the second one, this second element in the array. How can I access that? How can you access to the second element of an array?
We already learned that, but
Yes, Shinedu. That's index 1. Index 0 means the bearer, index 1 means the second element. Now, if I console log this, you will receive exactly the token. Let's see. Cancel, don't close it. Save. Make the request. Bang! Fantastic. We have the token in our hand now. Great. Let's continue our stuff. Now we want to make an if condition. We want to say if there is no token provided, if we cannot find something, because if you don't have this, it means it's not provided. Yeah. If there's no token provided, we want a nice message. We say an error message, so to say. The status 403 actually, not allowed, I think. It's 403 with a nice message. The message is like if there is no token provided, it means they are not logged in. So you have to log in first, or you are not logged in, log in please, something like that. And then return. Yeah. But if there is a token provided, we want to now decode it. We want to see who is behind this token. We want to see who wants to get access to all the questions, let's say. Yeah. Because behind the scene, we hided some information about the user when they logged in inside of this token. So let's decode actually if there is provided. We can say JWT. We need JWT here also to use it. JWT, sorry, import JWT from JSON Web Token. So the JWT inside of it, there is a bunch of functions. We already used sign when the user wanted to log in. We signed the token. Now we want to verify the token. Who is behind this token? Yeah. The verify, if you check, it receives a bunch of stuff. First, you need to provide the token that is coming from the request. We have it in our hand. Yeah. The next thing is the secret that is inside of our .env. And I think that's it. We don't need some options or anything. Let's see. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to provide the token. And the next thing is providing secret, which is coming process.env.secret. Without the secret, our server cannot understand who is behind this. It cannot decode actually our token. Let's console log it. CLG. Let's console log decode. Decode variable. Decoded token. Yeah. Let's test it now again. I'm gonna make the request. The request goes there. It splits the token and checks and verifies who is the token behind the scene and console log it. Let's see. Bang. All right. I didn't receive a console log. Seems here doesn't work. It seems here doesn't work. I didn't receive it here. Secret is using a secret public key. Okay. Why did it work? Do I have access to? If it's but if it's expired, we should receive an error. Fantastic. You see, we don't have the error handling here, guys. Definitely it throw an error to us. It didn't go here to this console log. It went to this block of the code for catching the error. Let's see. Fantastic. Who was it? I didn't see. Maybe that's expired. And because it's expired, it throws an error. Yeah. We want to send the error with a nice message. Let's say status 403 not authorized with this message. The message will be whatever is the error. Inside of it there is a message. Dot message. Let's test it again. Send the request. Bang. Fantastic. Now we receive the error as a console log. Also we have it, and also as a response global error handler. JWT expired. Good catch. Why it's expired? Because when the user was logged in, when Mickey was logged in, the login endpoint creates a token. I'm going to jump to auth router. Sorry for changing a lot. But here, when the Mickey was logged in, we created a token. Fantastic. But look at that. We said expire in 1 minute. After 1 minute is expired, Mickey needs to log in again. Yeah. So it's not a user friendly, so to say. It was just for testing. Usually you can put it for 24 hours or 48 hours to be like expired. All right. So let's keep it for 24 hours, or if you are learning, put it for 1 minute or 1 hour that you see how it works. All right. Let's log in again with Mickey. So in the user, I'm gonna make request that Mickey is logged in because I need a new token. Fantastic. A new token is created for Mickey. We need this. And I'm gonna make the request for question. I'm gonna replace it with this one. Let's test it. So Mickey, bang, and look at that. Now the decoded token, it's telling you that the user ID, who is behind this token, that's an ID of a user. From where we having that? From here, because when we created the token for the Mickey, we said we want a user ID, and we put it the user ID of like the Mickey's ID inside, and we hide it inside of the token. And for the next time, when Mickey makes a request with that token, the check token decodes that, and we receive what we like hide there. Usually there is a, like you can hide also email. You can have ID of the user and email of the user. It's not important. The only thing that is important that you have a bit information, a unique information about the user, who is behind this token. Yes.
So just right now, the process.nv then secret, the secret here, what role is it playing like here? It's playing like a middleware kind of role to verify the token, or?
Exactly. So what it does behind the scene, this verify function, It needs the token, and it needs the secret that how the token was created. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't know this verify function, if it doesn't know how was created, which secret keyword we use to create the token, it cannot verify that. Yeah. That's why the server needs that, and then it can know, okay, to decode this token, who is behind. And there is you can see some timestamps, they are seconds or milliseconds, I really don't know, which that when this token was created and when will be expired. If you just make a calculation, it will be 1 hour, 24 hours we said. Yeah. From this part, it knows the expiration. It does just a little calculation. This one minus this one, it gives you 1 hour. If it's more than 1 hour, it's expired, for example. So it will be done automatically by verify anyway. You don't need to do that. The only thing that you need is this one from this decoded token. So now what to do with it? You decoded the token, you know who is behind that. You want to do this. You want to grab the request again, the request that you have it. Dot, you say the user, or whatever you want to name it, doesn't matter. But it's because it's about the related user. You put a user keyword inside of the request in this way. You say rec.user equals to decode.user_id. What does that mean? This means you added an extra information inside of the request, which is user equals to an ID of a user, something like that. And then after that you say next. Okay, because you want to allow the request to continue. You updated, so to say, request with some information inside. I want you to check the check the entire request after that, the rec. Okay, let's see what we get before we go to the next. I don't want to go next, let's just wait for now. Let's see what it does. Send the request, you will have a very big head request information. Yeah. Inside of the request, it's the header part, you can see, and look at that. This is the one we added inside of the request. You can add some stuff inside of the request. There's a bunch of information about the request, but you can add whatever you want. You can say rec.cat equals to Igor, let's say. Then you will have inside of the request cat Igor. What we added only is just user with this ID. This line. Inside of the request, we add a user keyword, and the value of that is whatever we decoded from the token. Why we do this, and why we put this information inside of the request again. And we say, go next. Okay? Going next means here. So the check token, if successfully decodes the token, if everything is fine, it adds the user information inside of the request and says go next. So next means the next middleware, which is this one. And here we can check console log. Let's console log what we added in the request. What we added in the request was rec.user, correct? Which was an ID. And why we need this here, I'm going to tell you in the next step. Because you need to know now who was behind this in this middleware. Let's see. So there is a console log also here. I'm going to get rid of the console log here. I don't want it. I don't want it here. Let's see now what we receive. Mickey again make request to get all questions. And look at the console log that we have now in that one. You can see now the Mickey was able to get all the questions, the response, because successfully logged in, and then we checked it and we said, okay, go and get the questions. And then we know who is this ID made the request to get all the questions. Who is this ID? We can find it in our database. We can find it. Who is this ID? We still didn't do that part, but you can do it. Find by ID, you find it and see, oh, it's Mickey. Okay. But in which case you have to do it? Yeah. So the check token checks the token, adds the information about the user, which is an ID, inside of the request, and says go next. The request is like this. Let me get rid of this information. So it says next. So here the request, you updated the request with an extra information inside. User dot dot, there is an ID inside of the request. And here we can access to that. Because if you don't add it inside of the request, this middleware is not aware of who did this. Yeah? Because this person first checking who did this and adds it for extra information. It's like it's your friend and it's you. You are responsible for checking who needs to go to the party. Yeah, you check a list and there is a name, for example. There is an ID, a token, you check it. Okay, this ID is legit. Go in. The next one, which is you want to let them to, I don't know, to sit or whatever in this party. This person needs to provide you the names that they are legit. It says, hey, this person with this ID is okay. You can let them in. If you don't provide who to let in to the next person, then they don't know it, who should go in. All right, that's why you need to add the information about the user inside of the request. Wow, so difficult. Is that clear?
It's a bit difficult, but...
It is. But the only thing that you need to know is just, it's a very logical thing. The check token checks the token who is behind it and adds it into the request. And the request comes here with next. When you say next, request continues to go there. And then here in the request, we have access to the information we added to the user. We added to the request, actually, which is an ID. But why we need this here? Maybe we don't need it here, but maybe we need it here. Maybe you need it here to, let's say, check the role now. I like check role and middleware, check role, let's say, something like this. Check role. Maybe you want only to give all the messages to a person after they are logged in. Anyway, anyone should be logged in for making a request to this. And then when you say go next, check role must check if this user is admin or not. Maybe you want to do this. Because if it's not admin, then you don't want to allow the request goes here that they receive all the messages. You want to stop here. Say, you are a normal user. I'm not going to give you all the messages. Yeah? Does that make sense what I'm telling? So here we want to have another middleware to check the role. We don't have it yet, but let's create it. So somewhere here in the middlewares, I'm going to create check role.js. So sign of a middleware is a function with three things. Let's create it. Check role equals to three things inside, rec, press, next. Now, always let's have our try and catch. Let's prepare our next error with a status. It's again about not authorized, because if they are a normal user, not admin, then they are not authorized, then the status is 403 with a message. Let's say whatever the error message happened, I don't know, error dot message. This is the catch error, and here. So I want you to think about it, because they are really connected to each other, okay? Go away. Yeah. The check token checks and puts the user ID inside of the request and says go next. The next one now comes to this. So this endpoint, this middleware needs to know who was here. And how does this know who was here? We put it inside a rec.user inside, which is an ID. Yeah. So it's like, let me close this. So inside of here, we can have access to rec.user. Let's go. So here you can say console log. Inside of the request, check token added a user ID or user. We added as a keyword user. Better maybe we put it as a user ID. Let me check the token. Better here you put as a user ID, because we adding a user ID. Yeah, something like this. This is better. So we add something inside of our request user ID and the value of that as real ID of a user. And then here we can access to that. In another middleware, we can access to that. Let's console log it really if we have access to that. I'm gonna put a sign here, flag, checking user ID after check token adds the user ID inside of request or rec. Yeah, let's console log it and let's see. So we need to export this first. Don't forget that, because we wanna use it. Export. So where we want to use it, everywhere that you want to use it, you import it. So I want to use it in this endpoint. You can use it on each endpoint that you need to be protected. Yeah. So here, I'm going to use it for now as an example here for getting all messages. Check role. Make sure you are importing that. So check role, this one. So let's test it. I'm gonna first make the request. The request has a token inside. The token will be checked and will be decoded, added to our request, and the next one is the check role. Let's check. The check role is console logging rec.user ID. Let's see. Bang! Fantastic. The check token successfully checked it. It was correct. Everything was fine. And added the user ID behind this check token. This is the console log of checking user ID after check token, add the user ID inside of rec. And this is the ID of the user that is behind this token. We don't know who is this person, because it's just an ID. Now we need to know if this user is an admin or a normal user, because now we need to go to the database to find out. In the check role, we have only the ID in our hand. So we can say now, let's find this user in our database. Find user equals to await user model. Yeah, we need to use our user model. So make sure you are importing also your user model. .js. What's wrong with you? Yeah. So this should be async, don't forget, because we are using await. So we're going to use our user model to find someone. Let's find it by ID because we have the user ID in our hand. So find by ID, and we provide the ID of the person here, which is inside of the rec.user ID. This is the one that we console logged. Now, let's find it. When we find it, let's console log it really. I would like to console log it if we find it or not, because you have to check if you don't find it, maybe this user doesn't exist or whatever. Console log find user. User found in check role middleware. Let's see. Make the request. Bang. Fantastic. The checking role, so the check token checked it and found out there is an ID inside for someone. It's legit. And added that ID inside of the request for the next middleware, because next middleware needs to check, okay, who is this behind this ID? We were successfully, we could successfully find who is behind this ID. It's Mickey, the Mickey that was logged in.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Where did you define if it's a user or admin?
Inside of the schema. So user schema, I don't know. So if you go to your model and user model, we added a role there in this way. So users can have role, type is string, and we use enum. The enum is like a user can either be an admin or either a user, normal user. And by default, we said everyone that is registered in our database is a normal user. We don't still have an admin. Okay, that's why you see the normal role is user. Fantastic. So it's checking like this. Look at that. Check token, it's valid. Who is behind that? It's an ID. We add the ID inside of the request for the next middleware. Next middleware receives that, says, okay, let me check inside of the request which ID of the user we have. And then inside of that, we find out, oh, there is an ID inside. Let's see who is this person. We find it in our database. Now we can really check if the role is admin or not. Because if the role is not admin, we don't want to allow that. Yeah? Let's say you can do some if condition now. It's just you have the object inside of your hand. You can say, when I find the user, there is a role inside, correct? If it's equal to, let's say, user, then we don't want to allow the user to receive the all messages. So we can say, prepare a nice error. We can say status 403, oh, as a number. With a nice message error, you can say permission denied. You are not admin. I don't know, something like that. Okay, and then stop the process here, which means return. Let's test it. So someone with this token trying to get all messages, bang. Forbidden, error, permission denied, you are not admin. So how the procedure went? The procedure went to a GET request to /API/questions. So it came to this endpoint. First, we checked the token was valid, there was someone behind. So we found that who is behind that with an ID. There was an ID behind the token. We added the token inside of the request, we said go next. The next middleware is responsible to check this ID of this person that trying to get all the messages. We try to find it, who is this person in our database. And then the check role takes the ID that was added by check token inside of the request. We find the user. And when we find it, we check the role. If the role is normal user, permission denied. If the role is admin, what would you do here? What do you write here? You want to allow the request continue, go and get all the messages, for example. What do you write here? Just one word.
Return.
If you do return, it means it does nothing. Yeah, return means stop here, that's it. But if you imagine a request as a person in your mind, the request itself as a person in your mind, I want to draw again the things. The request comes to the endpoint, goes to the check token. The check token checks the token, adds the ID behind the token in the request and says go to the check role. The check role is here now. It checks everything, finds the user and so on. If the role is like normal user, we send this. But what if the role is admin? Then it goes here. So here, if the role is admin means you want to say you can continue, go to the next middleware and say get the all messages. How can you say from here go next, continue the request, go to get all the messages? What would you say here in this line?
And I think we have to use next.
Exactly. Fantastic. You can say everything is fine, then next. You can continue. You want to allow the... Come on, stop drawing. Yeah. You allow this to continue. We don't have any user still in our database as an admin. And there is a question about that. How do you change a user to an admin? Yeah, in the companies they are really different. It's not like when someone registers. Let's go to the registration. Do we have a oath? Yeah. Look at here. When someone registers in your database, always they are saved as a normal user. Yeah. The way that when you work in a company, it's like it's different when they make someone as an admin. You know what I mean? For example, if they give you a special email, let's say. For example, me as a teacher, I have a like j.radon and then dci@gmail.com. Yeah. They say, like, don't care about now. This is capital. Yeah. dci.com. So sometimes they provide you a special email that ends with, for example, in this case, DCI, or yourcompanyname.com, or whatever. So they say register with this email. And they have a if condition somewhere in their endpoint. They check if the rec.body.email, yeah, for example, dot ends with we don't have such a function, it's just you create it, maybe ends with dci.com, then I want you to make them as an admin. So you can say rec.role equals to admin before you save it to the database. Yeah, they do it in this way, some companies, with a special email they provide. They say if you register with this email at the DCI at the end of it, then automatically system makes you as an admin. This is one of the ways, and it's common. It's different based on the companies. Another way is like, what is that? Come on. Another way is like completely manually. It's just manual. This means you go inside of the database and you find the user that you want, and manually you change it to admin. And this is very common, very common. Yeah. Let's say you don't have such thing here and you want to just log into our MongoDB database. Yeah, I want to log in now. MongoDB. If you have Compass in your system, you can log it from Compass. Both is fine. Let me sign in. Oh, come on. Let me sign in with Gmail, maybe it allows me. Okay, great, I'm in. So let's say it's really manually like this. You as a CEO or someone is getting access to real users in your database. You log in and you go to the users, browse collections, and you change, let me find, I don't know which one we are doing. I think it was this database, users. So you can see some of them we don't have roles because we added role later. These are corrupted data. The only person that had role was Mickey, or who? Let me check. I really don't know which database we are using. So if you want to check which database you are using, it's here. Yeah, full stack auth review. That's exactly the same thing that I'm checking. Full stack auth review and then users. Is that the all users that I have? There should be role inside. These are for before, okay, but I've registered someone with a role. Okay, it's a bad data. I need to create one again. I'm gonna delete everything. Let's users, drop the collection. Fantastic, I have nobody here, okay? I'm gonna register some users in our database. Come down. All right, let's register some users. I have a users and I'm gonna register Mickey for now. Here, let's say Mickey, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Register. Okay, Mickey is registered and now the role by default is added user. Okay, let's add someone else. Let's add Isam, and the password is, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Isam also is registered. Let's register also Okile, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Save. Great, we have 3 users in our database. Let's see. Fantastic. 3 users in our database. Let's say you have hundreds or thousands of users, and usually it's very common that you log in, or someone as a CEO logs in and makes someone as an admin, like manually like this. Or they have a special emails that whoever register with these emails, they will be automatically as an admin, as I showed you like that. So let's say the users, and let's say they want to make Okile as an admin. They come here to the database, they edit the user, and the role, they just change it to admin. Just manually like that. And update. Yeah. Now we have 2 normal users, 1 admin. All right. Let's now try to log in with a normal user, which is Isam. Not here, that's for registration. Here. Isam. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? No, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isam logging in. Successfully logging in, receiving a token. I'm going to get the token for making a request to get all the questions. So this time replacing the new token. So we know that this is Isam behind the scene, but the server needs to check the token first, check the role, and then allowing to receive the messages or not. Sending the request. You can see permission denied, you are not admin. Isam not admin. Because when the request is going, I'm just repeating that you understand what is happening, yeah? When the request is coming, it comes here to /API questions. First we check the token, fantastic, we checked the token, it was an ID behind the scene, that was the ID of the user. And we added to the request, we said go to the next. And checkRocal sneak peek inside of the request, if there is an ID inside, user ID, we have user ID there, fantastic. Then we check this user ID, who is this person? So we try to find it in our database and we check the role. If the role is normal user, we stop and say we permission denied. If the role is admin, we say go next, which means the next should come here to this endpoint, get all the questions and set the questions to the front end. Okay, so let's now log in with someone that is admin, which we changed it now, it was Okile. I want to now log in first because you need to log in to get a token. Because look at that, if you test the token, look at the token for testing also. Where is the question? Yeah. If someone tries to malform this, let's say JQ, we're going to change it to T, yeah, at the end. This token, we know that no one has this token. Let's see what happens. Invalid signature. See, the check token knows that, oh, someone changed it, and it knows it that I didn't create this token. So if someone tries to malform this data, Your server, the verify function that is responsible for checking the token, knows that. Yeah, so that's the thing. Now we need to log in with a person that is admin. Who's the admin? I forgot. It was Mickey? Okila. So Okila tries to log in now with 1, 2, 3, I think 4, 5 also. We know that Okila is admin, but let's see if the system also knows that. Let's try to log in with Okila. Okila receives a token. For the next request, we need this token. So here, the token is provided in the request. Now, send the request. Let's see. Bang! Fantastic. The Okila was successful to getting all the messages because Okila is admin. Does that make sense? Yeah, this is the real thing. It could get more complicated, like you need to give access to someone else, something else. Yeah, but it's the real thing, how they do it in the companies. Okay, so when you work somewhere, you know how that one of the ways that actually they do it. So you can protect any route that you want. I can say no one is allowed to create a new message. Let's say this is for creating a new message. If they are not logged in, because the check token is responsible for logging in, yeah? If there is no token provided in the things, they are not allowed. Let's do it. The check token. So someone tries to create a question, yeah, and I don't want to provide anything, nothing, and someone tries to now creates this question. Let's say programs languages 2, JavaScript 2, because they are unique. We have to make sure that there is no unique things. If someone tries to do that, we added the check token in this endpoint. Let's see. There's an error, cannot properties are undefined read split. So you know the reason is just a JavaScript for now, but we will handle that. It went to the check token function and it tried to split the authorization. Because authorization is not provided in the request, you saw that we don't have anything, I just deleted that. Then it's undefined, and we cannot do undefined split on the undefined. The split function only works on the strings. And because it's undefined, it gives us this error anyway. We can handle that. Let's say we can handle this situation. We can add another if condition. Let's say if raw token doesn't exist at all, yeah, if the raw token doesn't exist, then also preparing a nice error. This is the same error like this one. But you can, if you want to be very accurate in error handling, you can say token is not provided. Yeah, because if there is no authorization inside of the headers, then you can say, hey, there is no token even provided. Yeah, and then we can return here or stop the process. Now, instead of receiving this error, we get a nicer error, like token is not provided at all. Let's test it now. Bang. Fantastic. Token is not provided. So then it means if someone tries to create a question write a question in your application. If they are not logged in, you send this message there, and your front end knows that, oh, token is not provided, maybe there is no token, then maybe they need to log in. Then you show a login page. You say you have to log in first, sorry. Yeah, I know a lot of information to grasp, but the problem is that I don't like it when I trust other teachers to say, hey, you need to be teaching this, and I come at 11, it finishes, and half of the things never told you. You know what I mean? So, is this clear what we did, like securing route, what does mean this? Because this check token, guys, it's a template always. It's always like that. If you want to check a token, that's it. You have a template for that, but you need to know why you need this. The most important thing is why, the concept. You need to understand. And I tried to explain concept thousands of times. Hopefully you understand that. Why you need the check token is responsible for checking if someone is logged in or not. If not logged in, you say, hey, provide that, log in or whatever. If there's a valid token, you add information who is behind the scene, behind the token to the request for the other middlewares. The other middlewares is the next one, for example, checking the role. And the check role, if you didn't add this information about the user, which is coming from the token, then you cannot find it actually. So you need that information to find the user who was behind the token. When you find it, you can know who is this person, is it Mickey, is it a normal user or not, and other stuff, and based on that you can do stuff. Alright, that's it guys. 12 minutes after, like, we passed, but you needed to know. There's an exercise. So I'm gonna definitely share it with you. Let me check what exercise we have. Before you go, I'm gonna show it to you. All right, come here. So it means, oh, you have a front end for that. Fantastic. I highly recommend don't do with a normal index HTML, create React. Do it with React. And it's a to-do application. Yeah, it's telling you it's almost complete. So I think you don't need to do anything. It's almost complete. User authentication has been implemented, but it's missing some parts of authorization mechanism. Like it could be, the task one is like, you need to add a role inside of your schema. Yeah, what we did like today. Or when you run the application for the first time, it should generate some data into the database. It's like seeding. If you want to seed your database, I think there's a seeding function or something. And the task 3 is updating the backend. So only allow users that have the role admin to delete records from the to-do item collection. Okay? Do not add user role to the JWT. And there is one more thing. Yeah. Because inside of the token, we can add some information. You've seen that. When you create a token, when someone logs in. So you create a token in the login endpoint. When someone logs in, here, you can see this is the information we add inside of the token. We just add only the ID of the user, correct? You do not want to add the role of the user inside of this as an information, because it's bad. It's information leak, so to say. Okay, if someone gets access to your token somehow, if they can decode it, they see, oh, this user is an admin, fantastic, we can do a lot of stuff with that. So do not put the role of the user inside of the token. The only thing that you need to add is just ID of the user, because later you need to know who is this person. With the ID you can find it in your database. That's the thing actually. That's all.